You could list every single reason it ended. The lies, the arguments, the way they made you feel, without even thinking hard. And yet, at 2 a.m., some part of you still wants to pick up the phone and text them anyway. Everyone around you can see clearly that they were bad for you. So why can't your own heart seem to agree? This isn't weakness, and it definitely isn't poor judgment. There's a real, specific psychological reason this keeps happening to people. It explains why the people who hurt us the most are often exactly the people we struggle hardest to let go of. And it comes from genuine, well-documented psychological research, not just a comforting saying about how complicated love can be. Today we're breaking this down in 3 parts: the hidden mechanism behind it, why it feels like an actual addiction, and how to break free. By the end, this feeling probably won't vanish completely, but you'll finally understand exactly what's actually happening inside you. Let's start with the single biggest reason your brain simply refuses to let this particular person go. Back in the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner ran a series of experiments that quietly explained a huge part of this. Skinner studied how animals respond to different patterns of reward, and he discovered something that seems almost backwards at first. You'd assume a reward given every single time would create the strongest, most persistent behavior. That's not what happened. Instead, rewards given unpredictably, sometimes yes, sometimes no, on no fixed schedule, created by far the strongest, hardest to break behavior. This is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it's the exact same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. You don't know exactly when the reward is coming, so you keep pulling the lever, hoping this time is the time. Now think about a relationship where love, warmth, and affection weren't consistent, sometimes fully there, sometimes suddenly, confusingly gone. Neurologically, that inconsistency doesn't weaken the bond. According to this research, it actually makes the bond significantly stronger. Modern neuroscience backs this up directly. Your brain's dopamine system responds more intensely to unpredictable rewards than predictable ones. Researcher Wolfram Schultz found that dopamine surges specifically when a reward is uncertain, not simply when a reward arrives. In other words, the uncertainty itself is part of what makes something feel so intensely rewarding to your brain. So in a relationship with unpredictable affection, every good moment hits your brain harder than affection ever would in a stable relationship. The rare good days, the apology, the sudden sweetness, the reminder of who they could be, become intensely, chemically powerful. Your brain isn't confused about right and wrong here. It's simply responding exactly the way variable rewards are built to work. This is precisely why people often describe missing someone bad for them as feeling eerily similar to craving a substance. It's not really that different, neurologically speaking. Uncertain reward, powerful dopamine spike, a pull that's genuinely hard to override. This also explains why the good moments in a difficult relationship often feel more intense than good moments in a healthy one. It's not because the difficult relationship was actually better. It's because your brain was running on a much stronger reward pattern. Understanding this mechanism is reason number 1. But there's a second, deeper layer that makes this pull even harder to escape. It has a name too, and once you hear it, you'll probably recognize the exact cycle almost immediately. Reason 2 is something researchers call trauma bonding, and it describes a very specific, repeating emotional cycle. The term originally comes from research on abusive and high-control relationships, though the underlying pattern shows up in milder forms too. The cycle usually follows a repeating shape. Tension builds, something painful happens, then comes reconciliation, followed by a period of calm. During the calm period, things can genuinely feel wonderful, warm, connected, even better than most healthy relationships feel day to day. But that calm period isn't stable. Eventually, tension builds again, and the cycle repeats itself, often over and over. Here's the critical part. The relief you feel after each painful phase gets mistaken, neurologically, for genuine, deep happiness. Relief and happiness actually activate some of the same reward pathways in the brain, even though they come from very different places. So after a painful fight, the sheer relief of reconciliation can feel like one of the most powerful emotional highs you've ever had. Your brain files that intensity away as evidence of a deep connection, rather than correctly identifying it as relief from harm. Over time, This cycle trains your nervous system to associate this specific person with both your greatest pain and your greatest relief. That combination creates an extremely powerful bond, arguably stronger, neurologically, than a bond built purely on steady, consistent affection. This is part of why people in difficult relationships often say things like, "Nobody else makes me feel this intensely." That intensity is genuinely real. It's just coming from a stress and relief cycle, not from actual safety or true compatibility. Once someone leaves this kind of relationship, the cycle doesn't simply switch off. The nervous system stays primed for it. Without the next relief phase to complete the pattern, the body can feel unsettled, restless, almost like something is missing. This is very often what people are actually feeling when they say they genuinely miss someone who treated them badly. It's rarely that they miss the mistreatment itself. It's that their nervous system misses the intense highs that followed the mistreatment. Researchers have found this pattern across many different types of high-conflict relationships, not just the most extreme, obvious cases. Even relatively mild versions, frequent small conflicts followed by intense makeups, can create a milder version of this same bond. This helps explain a pattern many people notice. Healthy, stable relationships can genuinely feel almost boring in comparison at first. That's not actually a sign something is wrong with a healthy relationship. It's a sign your nervous system is simply recalibrating. The absence of chaos can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, purely because your brain had adapted to a very different pattern. So reason 2 is trauma bonding. Pain and relief, repeated enough times, quietly weaving themselves into something that feels like love. But there's still one more piece to this puzzle, one that goes back even further than this specific relationship. Reason 3 connects directly back to something we covered in an earlier video. Your attachment style, formed early in childhood. If your early experience of love was inconsistent, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, your nervous system may have learned that pattern as normal. Psychologists sometimes describe this as repetition compulsion, an unconscious pull toward relationships that echo early, unfinished emotional patterns. It's not that you consciously seek out people who will hurt you. It's that inconsistency can feel strangely, uncomfortably familiar. And familiar, to your nervous system, often gets misread as safe, even when it very clearly, obviously isn't. A calm, consistent, healthy relationship can feel oddly unfamiliar if your nervous system never fully learned what consistency feels like. This doesn't mean you're destined to repeat this pattern forever. It means the pattern has an identifiable, specific root cause. Understanding where the pull comes from is often the first real step toward recognizing it in the moment before acting on it. So let's bring these 3 reasons together, because separately they explain a lot, but together they explain almost everything. Your brain's reward system was running on unpredictable, high-intensity reinforcement, the same pattern behind slot machines and other addictive behaviors. A repeating cycle of pain and relief trained your nervous system to associate this specific person with your most intense highs. And if your early attachment experiences were inconsistent, that instability may have felt strangely familiar, even comforting, on some unconscious level. 3 separate systems, all quietly reinforcing the exact same pull, which is exactly why this feeling can be so hard to shake. So what actually helps, once you genuinely understand all of this happening quietly underneath the surface? The first thing is simply naming it accurately. This isn't love you're missing. It's a reward pattern your brain got used to. That distinction matters, because it shifts the question from, why can't I stop loving them, to why is my brain craving this pattern? The second thing is expecting the discomfort of a healthy relationship, or of being alone, without mistaking that discomfort for something being wrong. Calm can feel unfamiliar for a while. That unfamiliarity is your nervous system recalibrating, not a sign you made the wrong choice. The third thing is giving yourself new sources of intensity that don't come from chaos. Real achievement, real connection, real adventure. Your brain doesn't need the specific person back. It needs a new source for that intensity, and that source can genuinely be rebuilt. This process isn't instant. Nervous systems that adapted to an unpredictable pattern over months or years take real time to recalibrate. But research on both reward conditioning and attachment consistently shows this pull does fade with consistent, different experience over time. The craving doesn't mean you should go back. It means your brain is still running an old, outdated program, one worth updating. It can also help to physically limit access to reminders, messages, photos, social media, while your nervous system is recalibrating. Each time you don't act on the pull, you're giving your brain new evidence that the craving doesn't have to control the decision. Over time, that new evidence genuinely does start to weaken the old pattern, based on how conditioning research consistently shows change happens. None of this makes the missing feel good, but it does make it make sense, and that alone tends to ease the shame around it. A lot of people quietly assume something is wrong with them for missing someone who was clearly bad for them. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is running exactly the process it evolved to run, just aimed at the wrong target. So here's what's genuinely happening every time you find yourself missing someone who was clearly bad for you. Your brain's reward system got hooked on an unpredictable pattern, the same mechanism that makes slot machines so hard to walk away from. A repeating cycle of pain and relief trained your nervous system to associate this person with your most intense emotional highs. And if that inconsistency echoed something familiar from early in your life, the whole pattern felt even harder to recognize as harmful. None of that means you're weak, foolish, or somehow bad at love. It means your brain did exactly what brains are built to do. So the next time you catch yourself missing someone who hurt you, try naming it precisely. Not love, a reward pattern. That single shift in language won't erase the feeling instantly, but it does put you back in the driver's seat of it. If this helped you make sense of a feeling you couldn't explain, there's more psychology coming soon. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.